Hey guys, it's Haya. I'm excited to share with you my progress and what I have learned and my big pile of failing forward in the first week of my going cold turkey on really raising the bar on my own levels of excellence in my life. So, I've got a few overarching themes that really drive and dictate all of my decisions. And that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I know that many of us are really linked together through the common thread of these life themes. So I'm going to share them with you, what I've been learning, in the intention that hopefully something that I'm sharing will be able to benefit you as well. So my life themes, as you know, first of all, and these are in no particular order, but that I really want to live a life of purpose, passion, and joy, living out my life purpose, really digging deeper into what I feel like that is, which started with discovering what that was, and then figuring out how to execute that, and doing everything in my life with passion and with joy. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is excellence. I'm a big believer in championship mentality and championship mindset, that anything worth doing is worth doing well. And good is the enemy of great. Good is not an option when great is a possibility, and really waging war on mediocrity in all areas of my life and really striving for excellence in everything that I do. The last theme that it's more like a filter that I run everything through my life through, this filter of longevity, because I don't want to live a long life just for the sake of living a long life. I want to live a long life to thrive. I don't want to be in a wheelchair. I don't want to be on the sick bed. I don't want to be hobbling around in my cane. I'd rather do that than not be around at all. But I want to be healthy. I want to maximize my years on this planet for a few reasons. Number one, so that I can give as much as I can to my purpose and to really lap up every second that God gives me on this planet, so that I can spend time with my family and see my children's children, as many generations down as possible, and to be here to execute and see to fruition as much of my purpose as possible. So I want to live a long life so that I can see the ultimate execution of that purpose. Okay, so those are the foundations by which I make all of the decisions of my life. So, why am I so committed to healthy living and to plant-based living? Not for all of these idealistic reasons, other than the fact that the science shows that that is going to give me the longest lifespan. Okay, now I may be whisked away tomorrow by aliens or hit by a Mack truck, and I'm okay with dying. I just don't want it to be my fault, God forbid. Okay, so when I looked at these few, at the last video that I made, I shared with you that I was going to go cold turkey on a few decisions to take my life to a new level based on some of the research that I have been learning. And one of those decisions was to move my daily meal from evening to morning. So the first question I got was, what do you mean your daily meal? Like, do you only eat once? Yes, I do eat one meal a day, except for once a week when I have free day. So that's a different conversation for a different video. And if you want to know why on earth I do that, why I'm a believer in intermittent fasting, why I'm a believer in one meal a day, I can make a separate video on that, and I can point you to all of the research for that. But that is not the purpose of this video. What I was really looking at is moving, and the research that shows moving that meal from evening to morning. Now, there's a lot of research, tons and tons of research that shows why it's not good to eat late at night. And I know that, but I was doing my daily meal at 5 o'clock. So I would get home from work, from, our mission of building schools to revolutionize education. And I would get home from school around 5 o'clock, and I had that 5 to 6 o'clock window as my eating hours. So it was our time we would relax, unwind at the end of the day, family time, chatting with my husband, spending time with my son, and just eating in that window. And it worked very well for me because I could do it slowly, I could take my time, I could prepare the food, I could sit and eat slowly. And then I still had, by the time my meal was finished, I had about 2.5 hours until I was going to bed, which gave me enough time for my food to digest. Because of the types of food that I eat, it was plenty of time for the food to digest before I went to bed. Okay. However, there was some new research that shows that eating in the morning even eating the same exact foods is totally different chemical outcome to your body than eating late at night. Now, there's not a lot of research that shows, well, what if you're eating early evening? It doesn't show that. So I don't have hardcore proof that I have to make this change forever, but it was enough research to lead me to say, I wonder if I'm gonna see a difference. So I made a decision to make this cold turkey move of my meal from evening to morning for 90 days to see what would happen using my body as an experiment, as a science lab. And I thought it would be an easy switch. Y'all, you would not believe how much drama this has caused into my life. It has literally turned my life upside down for more than one reason, okay? First of all, like I said, it was a nice slow hour for me to do that unwinding from 5 to 6 o'clock at night. My morning is meticulously calculated by the minute, literally, to make sure that I get everything in before I leave the house. I have like half a day already clocked before I leave the house. So to move all of that to before I leave is insane. So trying to like move everything around and try to get that done for the first week, y'all, I was like a wild woman in the morning, and it wasn't working for me at all. Because not only is it important what you eat and when you eat, but it's also important how you eat. There is thousands of years of research, or not, I wouldn't say research, thousands of years of proof, on top of the fact that you've got modern research that shows it's very, very important how you eat. It is so catastrophic to your body, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and even it's showing now spiritually, to eat while you're multitasking. You should never eat while you're in front of the TV. You should never eat while you're on the phone. You should never eat while you're up and running around and moving around. Eating should actually be somewhat of a sacred experience. I know it sounds crazy, but if you're doing it, ideally, if you're doing it to get the biggest bang for your buck and the best of the best of the best of the best outcome, you should be doing nothing else while you eat. You should be focusing on a state of gratitude, not just for the food, but for everything in your life. Actually, there is like thousands of years of practice, even going back to like yogi, in the Himalayas research that shows that for those of you that are big believers and big followers of the law of attraction, you can actually eat your food in a way that manifests your desired future. It is crazy, crazy, crazy. If you're interested in it, I can actually show you some of the philosophy of how that works, of how you're literally eating your dreams from the state that you eat and what you're thinking about while you're eating, what you're focused on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, okay? There's another school of thought that says you should be eating like royalty. It doesn't matter if you're eating a peanut butter sandwich, but if you're holding yourself in a state of being regal and eating slowly, and instead of just running around eating, even set your plate. It doesn't matter if it's a paper plate and a paper napkin, but if you stop and you go into it slowly and you appreciate and you set your space, there is so much that's happening, again, emotionally, psychologically, not to mention physically, all of the science that's showing this is why you shouldn't eat and then go run a marathon or eat. Do you know 50% of your body's energy goes into digestion? Then if you're going out and you're going to be doing heavy activity or running around or sports or exercise immediately afterward, your body literally goes into triage. It doesn't know what it should be doing. And when you can sit and be still, and there's from another school of thought that you've got 32 teeth, and if you're chewing your food 32 times, and the numerical formula of what this equates to, and what's called gematria, and how you're going back to philosophy from our sages that shows if you're eating slowly, if you're chewing your food from a state of gratitude, you would not believe what happens on a physical level. That the saliva that is activated in your mouth, that is taking the food down into your body, that your food should be mostly digested simply from chewing and what happens in the saliva before it ever hits your stomach. And when you're putting all of these things together, that you're eating from a state of joy? Do you know that if you're angry or mad or upset or sad while you're eating, not only are you psychologically programming yourself for comfort food, but your body is actually turning that food into poison. This is proven by modern science. So eating in a state of happiness, eating in a state of gratitude, eating like a king or a queen, not the amount and like an animal, but slowly in a regal way. The physical effects that this has on your body, the emotional effects that it has on your body, it's going to allow you to lose weight. It's going to allow you to create health. It's going to create the hormones and the chemical reactions that lead to greater happiness. And then if your mind and your spirit are focused on the right thing while you're eating, it actually allows you to begin to manifest your own desired destiny. Now, y'all, I am fully aware that everything I just said sounds so crazy and so out of this world to someone that is new to this material, because I know what I would have been like 5 years ago if I had heard this for the first time. I would have thought you were nuts. Okay, so you can choose whether or not to believe it, but I'm inviting you, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Look into it. I'm happy to share the sources with you if you'd like of where I've learned it from. But what I can tell you is that from what I know, what I have read, learned, and proven to be true in my own life, for me to turn my whole world upside down, to go from having a calm, happy state and eating the right foods to eating like a mad woman just to shove it down my throat and get out the door, or to eat it while I'm in the car, God forbid, multitasking and doing 9 million other things, it is not the desired effect that I was looking for. So it has taken me 8 full days just to get my schedule rewired to where I can eat in a calm state in the morning. And I would say now I'm about 85% there. I'm not fully there yet. Okay. The other thing that really rocked my world was I was not prepared for the emotional attachment that I had created over the last 40 years of eating when I walk in the door. Crazy emotional attachment to the act of comfort food when I walk in the door. That emotional attachment is something that threw me for a loop. I was totally not prepared for that. And let me tell you something, y'all. For the first week, I was literally like a crack addict in rehab going through withdrawals at 5 o'clock, sitting around twiddling my thumbs, trying to figure out what to do with myself if I'm not going to eat. And I'm a pretty strong person physically and emotionally, and I have got an ironclad will. So for me, I was physically saying I am not going to do it, but there was everything in my body that was fighting me so hard. And it took me, I started on Monday. Thursday was the first day that I wasn't like having physical withdrawals. I wasn't hungry, but I was emotionally attached to eating at that time of day. So that has been something that was a big light bulb for me, because one of the things that I've shared with you that I want to be working on is removing my emotional attachments. I don't want to be a victim. I don't want to be influenced. I don't want to be at the hand of, if you will, or I don't want to be dependent on, I guess is the best way to say it, anything outside of myself, like circumstances or environment or old habits or old programming. I want to be able to dictate that from the inside out. So I have literally had to focus on taming my body like a wild animal, that I don't have to eat at 5 o'clock, that I can rise above that and I can rewire my programming. So that has been something that was a big shock to me, is how emotionally attached I was to that comfort food. And that was actually a big light bulb moment for me, because I had thought that I had worked through so much of my old triggers of emotional eating. And you know what? There's always a new level. And so I'm just happy that I was able to see this new level of something that I had to overcome. So if you're new to the world of emotional attachments or new to trying to, getting rid of coffee, getting rid of, dairy, getting rid of meat, getting rid of, processed and packaged foods. I'm not saying you have to do these, and I'm not trying to convince you of it. I'm just showing you examples in my own life of each one of those were a new level for me, that it was psychological more than anything else. It was having to break my belief barrier that I didn't have to have those things to be happy, or I didn't need those things, and I wasn't socially conditioned to having to have those things to make me happy. Why do I need to depend on anything outside of me to be happy or to be whole? And that was a massive, massive lesson for me. So I could sit here and go on forever. I'm gonna cut it short here because I don't want to rant forever. But in my next two videos, I'm going to share with you what I have learned this week over the power of positive thinking. And there's a difference between being positive and being success-minded and being abundance-minded. And I thought I knew those, but this week showed me something on a whole new level. And then also in a next video, I'm going to share with you how I'm doing strategic surgery on my life to achieve the 6-month goals that I shared with you last week. So I hope that you are able to see a few things in what I'm sharing that you can just extract. You can pick and choose what resonates with you, and you can apply some of this to your own life. If you have any questions, of course, I'm always happy to share, and I'm just grateful that we're able to be on this journey together. Thanks so much. Bye for now.